It's the Career Connect, and we're back with an exciting show, and this is one of my favorite topics, youth in enterprise. Are young people getting into business? What do you think?
Yes, I definitely believe that young people are getting into business. Being a young entrepreneur myself and being exposed to young people every time when I work in communities, a lot of people come up to me and they have great ideas that they want to explore. And I believe that, entrepreneurship is something that's being grilled in young people these days.
So Winnie, tell me, are people forced into entrepreneurship or they go there by choice as their first stop out of university?
That's a very, very good question. I've always believed that not everybody is made to be an entrepreneur. You know what I mean? I feel that if you have the skills and you have the ambition and you have the ability to enterprise, there's definitely nothing wrong to give it a go and try. But also understanding that not everybody is made to or is meant to go in that line of entrepreneurship. And it's something that I always preach to my young candidates that I work with, my angel.
Okay, so Mark, what do you think of that?
I tend to agree because everyone thinks entrepreneurship, and I think we're known internationally for having a strong sense of that character that would be. There's lots of opportunity for entrepreneurs to emerge, but I agree with you 100% in terms of not everyone's going to be an entrepreneur. So if everyone's just trying to think different the whole time, different doesn't mean better. So there's certainly going to be situations where you can, as a new person to the industry or any sort of industry, partner with someone who maybe has something new and you end up working for someone. That's not bad. I think everyone keeps looking at entrepreneurship and thinking that's the way I've got to go because I can't work for a boss and I want my own time. There's the joke you all know where an entrepreneur is someone who works 100 hours for themselves so they don't have to work 40 for someone else. And people need to understand that, and working an office job that may suit someone in terms of their lifestyle, what sort of security income they need. An entrepreneur is a mindset. It's constantly looking at things on how can I refine it, improve it. Problem farming. I know what solutions I have and I want to go and find problems because I know what I can do when I find that problem. But agreed, 100%, not everyone's an entrepreneur.
So before we actually get into the mindset of an entrepreneur, because I'm sort of obsessed about that. Okay. Let's get an inkling of your background. So Winnie, what's your story?
Okay, well, I'm a psychology graduate from, now it's called Pearson, but it was then MGI. And I'm I'm Monash South Africa MSA Lead Fellow 2016. And MSA Lead is a fellowship program that basically provides a platform for young entrepreneurs and also provides support and identifies them in growing their ventures and whatever venture they're involved in. And in that, how I actually ended up to be an MSA Lead Fellow is that I run my own NGO. It's called Kiagile Wellness Development Center. And it's all around psychology. We promote psychology in communities. We provide psychological services to people that are in need. And then we also do youth development. So we work a lot with young people that want to reach their goals, their dreams, and we give them a platform and tools on how to do that from a psychological point of view and also from a motivator. I motivate them and I use my own experiences.
Wow. Where were you when I was growing up?
I was going to say.
So I'd really like to come back and explore a few things that you brought up there, but let's find out about Mark, our serial entrepreneur.
Cool. My side, I left university and very, very quickly got involved in entrepreneurship. So I started a customer experience company. So we assessed customer experience. Back then we knew it as customer service. This was 10 years ago. So it was called Phantom Group, where we employed people to go in and assess service. Mystery shopping, secret shoppers, whatever you want to call them. And we would assess all contact points with the business to provide feedback on what actually was happening, compare it to what needs to be happening, and then train in the solutions. It was while I was at varsity at Vega, finished up at Vega Brand Communications School, which was fun. Before that I was at UJ. After that I very quickly, we weren't able to run that any longer, so we put that on the shelf and I went into cycling, retail. So we had a distribution company which imported products. We then decided to go client-facing and open up a chain of retail stores. And for the better part of a decade, we put 3 stores down in South Africa catering to the cycling population, which has changed dramatically over the past 10 years. A little over a year ago, I stepped out I then started another new thing, a new company called Ninja Puppy. So it's essentially a marketing solutions company. We sell marketing like airtime. If you're a one-man band and you need 5 hours of a marketing solution or resource, you buy 5 hours, and if you need more, you top up. So we're an execution point for a number of different companies. And I then also do sales training and independent marketing and sales consulting with another couple of companies.
Wow. Just remind me of your ages, please.
I'm 32.
And I'm 26.
That's incredible. And I find it so inspiring, like how young you are and how much that you've both accomplished. And I'm sure to all the millions of viewers out there that is something that is really encouraging. Because I'm sure you see a lot of youth coming through your NGO that have hopes and dreams. How would you sort of categorize their hopes and dreams? What are they after?
Yeah, a lot of them are after change. I mean, as earlier on was mentioned, a part of being an entrepreneur for me is finding a solution when there's a problem. You know, I always want to find a solution, and I come up with ideas. So a lot of them just want to be problem solvers and come up with a great new thing, and how can they make a better situation that they're in or their fellows are in. So that's mostly what they're really after, change and making a difference.
And where do they generally get stuck?
I believe the lack of mentorship, or maybe the lack of capacity building that young people can actually get in the communities. They don't have a lot of resources, information. So my NGO kind of provides that little middleman instinct where I actually come and provide them with information. And they get really struck and excited, and they come to me like, look, I've got this business plan. Can you advise me? Can you point me in the right direction? And you know, when someone's ambitious and they know what they want, I go ahead and help them.
I think that is so cool. But why is it that young people don't go to the internet first? They go to the internet for everything else, but when it comes to getting their business going, getting everything planned, their first thing is, I don't know how.
Yeah. And it's not the research. They don't actually go into the research and actually find out what the information is out there. And I must say, for myself, when I started my venture, I almost fell into that loop where I just had this idea, but I knew how I wanted to get there. So I just got in and did what I have to do. But it all boils down to the resources and the knowledge that somebody must bring onto them, because a lot of them don't even know how to access this information. It really is that is the problem. When they have to register a company, for example, a lot of them don't know where to start, how to do it. They end up getting involved in illegal people that are giving them illegal dodgy ways to get it done. So, you know, it's really lack of knowledge. Yeah.
So do you think when starting a business, what I'm hearing is that there's tension between fear and perseverance?
Yes.
And it's I have a dream, but I have these two opposing forces that are constantly at each other. Am I going to not do something because of fear, or am I going to persevere to break through that fear into the land of my dreams?
I mean, just to add to what you were saying now in terms of where people get stuck, the other side is actually how to monetize it. How do I charge for what I've just thought up? Who's interested? Where does the value lie? And what value do I put to it, and how do I charge for that? That's a massive stumbling block for a lot of people. And in terms of information on how to get going, it's possibly a natural filtration process of entrepreneur and not entrepreneur, because I think intrinsic with an entrepreneur mindset is self-help, how to actually make it happen. And they equip themselves in a number of ways, not saying that their resources and access to that is fundamental, but they're probably the people that would go and find it instead of it coming to them. So maybe it is a natural way, and I say natural, but it's kind of society's way of you know, because if it was easy, everyone would do it, you know. And often what entrepreneurs come up with is not necessarily what everyone else is doing. That's part of the innovation. So yeah, that's the other stumbling block that I would add to that.
Yeah. And just to add, I mean, with the fear, I mean, what you just said, it's that natural instinct. If you're an entrepreneur and you know what you want and you know this is your goal, you'll really find solutions along the way, and next thing you know, you'll turn back and, wow, how did I make it here?
Absolutely.
So it's really that.
They may surprise themselves.
Yeah.
They may get there and realize, I didn't realize how fulfilling it was going to be, how big it could become, and how successful it, or how many other things it could lead into. They can then apply simple principles of what they've just done to a number of other paths that they'll walk, and they become to do a number of other, or they begin to do a number of other things. But as you say, fear and perseverance, it is a balance of the two, because the fear is the security. I have bills to pay. I need an amount of money coming into my bank every month that then pays for those bills. I go out on my own. What are the guarantees? And that's where the fears comes from. The perseverance is obviously what more I can achieve.
The only guarantee that I can give you right now is we'll be back after the break. Cool. But you guys are making it seem so easy. We've got to get into the hard talk.
Cool.
Coming up.
I think the best industry for any businessman or woman would be an industry, one, that allows for growth within a community and an empowerment. So if that means providing a good that grows the community as a whole, I think that's the best one. Whereas if it's a service that grows the community as a whole, because I think without community and without the community benefiting, we can't, as businessmen or women, actually grow our society and therefore our own profits.
I think anything that is very financially viable, like right now, digital marketing is booming, and anything that enriches young people, because then at the end of the day, they are our future leaders. So anything that empowers young people with a certain skill or a business etiquette, that would be what is more suitable.
Like, I'm not interested in being in one field. I'm studying law, but I do have my own business that I already run on the side. I just think it also goes to what type of person you are. And I'm the type of person where I am capable of doing a lot of things at once. And I have so many interests that I think I'd really struggle to just be in a single career or doing one thing. So definitely when I'm older, I'll be doing a lot of different things.
Well, I mean, a solid choice means you become a master and an expert at that. And that's always great if that's what you want to do, but sometimes it can get boring. So I know I get bored very quickly. So for me, a diverse background would be better, or a diverse job would be better. However, not too diverse so that I'm doing 500 things and I can't juggle, or maybe a combination of one or two things, 3 things maybe in the mix, but it's a dependent thing. Me as a person would be small, but still a differentiation of 2 different career options.
Well, it's very enticing to have a lot of skills. It's good to try a lot of things, but then at the end of the day, you don't want to be a jack of all trades and be a master of none. So it's always good to see what you know, and then once you've established what you're good at, then focus on that career path and then hone that skill and specialize in it and just own it.
I couldn't wait for the break to be over. I really want to get back into this conversation about the entrepreneurial mindset. Could you use that mindset even if you're not an entrepreneur?
Well, I guess for me the question would be then, when is it the right time to be an entrepreneur? You know, when does one decide that they want to become an entrepreneur at that moment, and what causes them to ask that question?
Mike, when were you asking that question?
Sure, I don't know. I think it stems from a creative aspect. So when is the right time? You read all the success stories of various entrepreneurs across the world. They leave school, they drop out, they do whatever, and they become some of the most successful business men or women we've ever seen. So is there a right time? Probably not. You'll know it, and it'll be a mix of experience or not.
What happened for you? You were at Vega. I'm sure you could have got a cushy job in some agency doing squat.
Yep.
And getting paid nothing.
Sure.
What made you choose the road less traveled?
Someone, my business partner actually said to me the other day, he said a job is something you get paid to do every day for someone else, and a passion is something that you do that you love and you can earn money from it. So I'm a big one in listening to thought leadership type people from various ages, back in the 70s and 80s, but it's just looking at something and saying, why is it like that? Couldn't I make it like this and make a success out of that? And what is success? If you just continuously do something over and over and over and over again and get good at it, you can then start to charge for what you bring to the table. But for me, yeah, at Vega, practical application of what I was learning, I then started to ask questions as a consumer in certain spaces. What am I experiencing that people don't know? Because the business isn't changing. How can I change that? How can I offer a valuable service that people would pay for that would in turn make them money? Because if I'm not making them money, how sustainable is my service?
Winnie, how does this sound to you?
Yeah, I can relate a bit there with you. I mean, for me, my journey, I was in the working industry, corporate, and I was not happy. I was not happy with a 9-to-5 job. I was miserable, and I knew that I was not living my passion, because I always had this dream, and I always saw it, I always visualized it, and I was asking myself, why am I here? No one's forcing me to be here. And I literally took that leap of faith and left the working life behind, and I got in and started the journey. So I can really relate to that.
And how long ago was that?
I launched the business on the 1st of October 2015. So it's just a year now that I've been running a successful NGO.
Exciting.
Yeah.
You can tell by the big smile.
It's amazing. Yeah. Tell me about your hardest days. Like there are days, I mean, we're painting such a rosy picture of one of the hardest things to do ever in your life. And there must be days where you'd be happy to say, here are the keys, it's yours, I'm out.
Yeah, no, leading sometimes, I mean, working with people is another thing, but when some people come to you and they expect you to solve a problem, and at the same time, I'm not Miss Know-it-all, and rely on my team so that we can also find solutions. So I think leadership sometimes can be quite a challenge, especially if you don't have that mentorship or that mentor or somebody to kind of like go back and lean on. That's my view on that.
And you, Mike?
For me, it's the no's. Sometimes, actually, there's a different one. Some days where you get the no's, you put something together which is to you the coolest thing in the world, and then you're met by not interested or no, or that doesn't add value, and it sort of goes against what you thought was valuable. And then the other times, hardest days, sometimes the yeses, because you think of something so big, so epic, and then someone says, cool, now do it. Wow, okay. And then you have to do it. You upscale, you upskill, you do whatever you can to execute based on what you said you could do. That's hard. Hard doesn't necessarily need to be a negative. Hard is a pressure. Cool, that sounds amazing. Now go and do it. And I'll see you Friday. Okay, cool. Think on your feet, jump in the deep end and learn to swim.
So we're looking at two different stories here. You have support, and seemingly you're a self-starter.
With support. Outside that support.
What kind of support have you had?
Grounding. I'm very, very blessed to have the right sort of education, upbringing, parents, peers, people you surround yourself with. You've got batteries and chargers in life. Hopefully you surround yourself with a lot of chargers, because batteries are draining. That energy you can harness and you can put into something else. But I've had good support in terms of upbringing, fortunate with that. And then mentors, type of people who've been there, done that, 10 years into what you may be doing, and sit down and run you through the school fees, which you can steer around.
Everyone wants a mentor, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you think that you can get everything from one mentor?
I'm only going to start experiencing having a mentor now with MSA Lead Fellow. But I must say, for the past year, starting the business scratch from myself, not really having that mentor, and pretty much going in, it's like jumping in the deep end and hoping that the next decision I make is the right one. It's been my journey. So I'm looking forward to having the experience of having a mentor and come and see what can really bring more for my business.
And you?
I think you may find you'll become a mentor to other people, and you'll then learn from that. I think that's fascinating, because it's like with inspiration. Some of the best ways to inspire yourself is just by inspiring someone else. That's cool. So that'll be interesting to find out what you do there. But no, I don't believe you can get everything from one person. It's like we said earlier with people, why don't they go to the internet to search for things? There's a series of opinions and experiences and theory and fact and a whole mix of other people in a person, mixed with their emotions and experiences and so on. So you need to take aspects of it and form your own little cocktail of brilliance. So you need to take bits and form your own idea of something. I think that's a must. You can't just go on what someone else says.
I've seen a lot of young people that when they're given the chance to get a mentor, the expectation is that this person is an oracle in every aspect of business, life, and they are bigger than Google. How do you temper that kind of expectation?
Well, I mean, I would imagine that it should be a two-way relationship with a mentor.
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, they may be asking questions that they experienced, and just to understand the journey or where they are in their journey and what information to give them. That's the mentor to the student or the learner, or whatever you want to call them. But yeah, it's a tricky one because the expectation is key. You're not going to get everything from them, and the role of that person may just be to be a sounding board. They sit there and listen and quietly steer the conversation down the avenue that they think it should happen, and you sit there thinking, well, I thought that up myself. I came to the solution by myself. Not really, but cool, run with that. Right. So a facilitator, I suppose, of energy and ideas and various other things.
Cool. Here's the final question. What would you advise a young person anywhere from 14 onwards, what should they do to get their entrepreneurship muscle ready? What could they do now, to find out should they be an entrepreneur or not, and what could they do to prime themselves, if they are, to jump into it?
Be trend wise, and I know that's probably a brand, but just understand what's happening in the world and where do you want to be, what industry, what section of industry, what level, who do you, where do you, again, back to where do you see problems, but understand what's happened before. A lot of people I see come up with ideas that haven't read enough or understood enough of what's happened before that idea. And they're probably coming up with something someone came up before the cycle started 10, 15 years ago. And they then get caught up in unpacking that idea and waste an immense amount of time and energy on something that if they just look left and right, they'll realize that it didn't work then and it's possibly not going to work now. So read and understand trends.
I was just about to add in that, like, just research and read and find out what is it that you're getting yourself into, going back and finding out, has it existed before, has it been done before, if so, if failed, how can I make it better? So definitely research would be the advice for me.
We keep on getting back to that thing called the internet.
Yes.
I think the bottom line is that you have to take the matter into your own hands. Your destiny is linked to your effort. And I think a lot of young people, if you're out there and you're listening, a lot of the time we wish people would do it for us. We wish someone would come down from the mountain, open up our business for us, tell us exactly what to do. We'll have no problems. After 2 years, we'll sit back and just let this thing happen. And most of the time, the opposite happens. So I guess after today's show, if there's one thing you need to know is really you can organize people around you to support you, but make sure that you're driving your ship. Till next time, thank you.
Cool.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.